Have you ever noticed that one person on your friends list who never posts a single photo? Their profile picture might be years old or maybe just a blank avatar. While everyone else shares smiles, vacations, or mirror selfies, they stay quiet. They scroll, they see, they know what's happening, but they rarely, if ever, show themselves. Meet Lara. She's in her late 20s, works as a designer, and spends hours online. She loves watching videos, reading comments, and saving posts that inspire her. But when it comes to sharing her own pictures, she freezes. She'll open the gallery, choose a photo she actually likes, and then delete the post before anyone sees it. She tells herself, it's not that important. But deep down, there's more to it than that. Psychologists say there are many reasons people choose not to post their photos online, and none of them are necessarily bad. Sometimes it's about control. In a world where everyone is oversharing, staying silent can feel powerful, like keeping a piece of yourself that the world doesn't get to touch. Some people simply value privacy. They don't feel the need for validation through likes or comments. Their happiness isn't tied to how others see them. In fact, studies show that those who post less often sometimes experience lower social anxiety because they don't constantly compare themselves to filtered versions of others. But for others, the reason runs deeper. Lara used to post a lot back in college. Photos with friends, her morning coffee, little life updates. Then, one day, she saw a picture of herself that someone else had posted. And in that moment, she didn't recognize the person she saw. She noticed every flaw the camera caught. Her expression, her posture, her smile that looked forced. Comments were kind, but her mind twisted them. She started to overthink. She became hyper-aware of how she looked, how she should pose, what others might think. That's when the fear began. The fear of being seen but not understood. Over time, she quietly disappeared from the digital spotlight. Not because she hated herself, but because she was protecting the parts of her that others might misinterpret. And you know what? There's psychology behind that too. The hidden reasons people don't post. Fear of judgment. They worry that people will misread them, criticize, or gossip. The online world can be harsh, and not everyone wants to expose themselves to it. Need for authenticity. They dislike the performance side of social media, the posing, filters, and constant pressure to seem perfect. Low need for validation. Unlike many, they don't crave likes or external approval. Their sense of worth comes from within, not from a notification bar. Social fatigue, constantly showing yourself to the world, can be emotionally draining. So they choose peace over popularity. Inner reflection. Some people are in seasons of healing, growth, or rediscovery. And when you're rebuilding yourself, you don't always want to be watched. Mindfulness. When you're not constantly thinking about how life looks, you start paying attention to how life feels. Lara noticed this shift. Without the pressure to capture every moment, she began to experience them more deeply. The laughter of friends, the smell of rain, the warmth of the sun. Authenticity. People who avoid posting often value realness. They understand that social media tends to show the highlights, not the truth. So they prefer genuine moments over perfect pictures. And according to positive psychology, authenticity leads to higher well-being. Because you live in alignment with who you truly are, not who you're expected to be. There's a quiet confidence in people like Lara. They know who they are, even if the world doesn't see it. They don't need to prove it online. They live moments for themselves, not for the feed. They take pictures but never post them. They travel, laugh, and love, without hashtags or filters. Their lives may look silent from the outside, but in reality, they're simply living more privately, more intentionally. And sometimes that's a sign of emotional maturity. Because they've learned something many people forget. Not everything needs to be shared to be real. So, if you're someone who doesn't post much, or at all, remember, you're not strange. You're simply drawing boundaries in a world that constantly asks for your attention. And this act of quiet resistance actually boosts mental resilience. Because every time they choose silence over performance, they're reinforcing one important truth: my worth is not measured by visibility. And that's an incredibly healthy mindset. Lara once said something that stuck with me. Silence online doesn't mean I'm invisible. It just means I choose where to shine my light. I don't need everyone to see my happiness. I just need to feel it. Maybe that's the truth. The quiet ones aren't hiding. They're protecting their peace. And that's the essence of this story. The people who don't post their photos aren't missing out. They've simply found fulfillment that doesn't need an audience. And in a world obsessed with being seen, that might just be the most powerful kind of peace there is.